So I just recently did my own terrain generator. Uh, Main reason was I tried all the other ones and just couldn't. They weren't working for me. I had a lot of issues, mainly trying to use them and just having a hard time getting them figured out. And by the time I got to the point where I could actually figure them out, I could have written my own. A lot of them were junk. I paid a lot of money for a lot of different things and ultimately didn't get what I wanted. I will say the best one I did use was Map Magic 2. I loved it. I loved everything about it. The terrains were phenomenal. The only issue I had with it was what it finally produced in the end wasn't usable for me. I need something where I could actually manipulate individual vertices and colors and manipulate the mesh. And Map Magic produces the a standard Unity terrain, which doesn't allow you to touch the vertices, whatever. So I had to write my own. So I just wanted to give an update on where I was at. This is the starting screen. Basically, what I'm looking at is I just need something to create terrains for my game. I'm at the point in my game now where I need terrains. So I needed something that I could create terrains real quick with, and I wanted to be able to make different ones real easy. So I wrote a terrain generator that eventually I'd include it with my game so that people could make their own terrains and play their own servers and stuff. But this is right now I just got it creating a terrain. This is the starting screen. Display map. This is basically you choose what kind of map you wanna display. We'll start with the good stuff, the textured terrain and world size. Basically everything's on 241 vertices per mesh, because that'll give you the max 65,000 plus vertices per mesh, minus some for manipulating and all. I can't remember why, but right now the biggest one you could do is 3856. I like the size of the 1928. That worked out pretty good. Noise. These are all the standard terrain generator stuff. The noise scale, octaves, persistence, linearity, offset, and all that stuff. Borders will make your terrain like an island, a lot like Worm, which is what I was after. I wanted something like what Worm did. It was pretty cool. And then this will adjust the border edge to make it smaller or bigger, whatever. And this adjusts the mesh height. The smooth edges is what I had to do to get the terrain to seamless. Before I did this, the seams were freaking horrible. It was a mess. So I had to do that to fix the seams. But I didn't. When you click Show Map, it'll show the map of whatever you selected. You can see it froze because I didn't put it on its own thread right now. Not concerned with that right now. But anyways, this is what it produces. You could zoom in and out. You could move the map around. I gotta change the movement code because it drifts. It's like elastic style movement. It's just stupid, but never got around to changing that yet. This is the top-down view. You can show the water, which will turn on the water that I've included that I have. I bought Aquas, the water from the Access store. I loved it. It worked out really good. I tried other ones before. They were garbage, of course. Most shit on the Asset store is garbage, but well, I wouldn't say that. That's not really fair. But so far, like 1 out of the last 10 things I bought actually worked and were good. So Map Magic and Aquas were the 2 things that I bought out of all the shit I tried recently that were good. This is the sea floor, so it'll expand the sea floor out. I don't know. Yeah, actually that looks good. Everything worked out good. You could toggle fly cam so you could fly around the terrain. Shift will speed up the fly speed. But you can see this is what the terrain looks like after you create it. The big thing for this was the animation curve I had to come up with for this, because I wanted a lot, some flat ground, because most terrains, they give you all this stupid ground where everything looks like this right here, where it's unusable. So you had to use an animation curve to actually give you some flattened area that was actually usable for building stuff and running around and having fun without having to run over real hilly, noisy areas. The main ideas I got from this was from Sebastian Log, I think that's how you pronounce his name, where he does a series on procedurally generated terrain, that's not what I wanted. I wanted just a single map like this. His will produce endless terrain that if you run in one direction, it'll constantly produce it. But the stuff he shows in that was phenomenal. Just a lot of the tips and tricks and coding that he used was really good in that stuff. One of the things that in the end of the series, though, that didn't seem to get fixed was the seams. So that's why I had to do my own. Let me see if it'll show it here. Where the seams are just really screwed up. You go to an area where I know the seams show up if smoothing's not enabled. There was some here. Let me turn the water off. No, I think, that's what it was. Since it already generated the terrain, it already smoothed them, so toggling it isn't going to change. I'd have to recreate the terrain to... Actually, let's do it. Let's see what happens. I got to change something here. And that'll recreate, when you change the setting, it'll recreate the whole terrain. So now the smoothing was turned off. So let's go back to, where's my area at? I'm lost now. I don't know where I'm at here. Oh, because I changed the thing, changed the actual whole map. Oh, jeez, and I still got smoothing edges on. Alright, let's do this. See if you can see where it didn't smooth in. Nope, not there. Let's go back to the map. This is the map I'm going to use in my game. I loved it. So this is what I'm using for all the testing and stuff. There it is right over there. I'm just familiar with this area here. I've done a lot of tests. But you can see right there where the edge isn't smooth right there. So I had to do some freaking crazy code to fix that shit with normals. Averaging normals between meshes and lining them up and all kinds of funky stuff. But it took me a while. I finally got it. So let's go back to... And someday I'll make it to where put the terrain generation on its own thread so it doesn't lock the whole application like that. Go back to the map I know, and then I'll show you some really cool stuff I did here for real-time editing, changing stuff. Let's turn on the water, because that just looks really cool. I love the water. I mean, the bad thing about the water, man, it adds some, takes a lot to do the water. Really brings your, well, you can see right there, brought the FPS down when you turn it off. I'm hitting over 500. When you turn it on, it's barely gets over 200, unless you're looking straight down. Actually, that's still pretty good. Wow, because basically my game view is going to be like this right here. It's going to be third-person view. But here's some cool stuff I did here. If you go to layer settings, you could tweak, you know, the colors, and it'll do real-time tweaking for you. So I mean, look at how cool that looks. You change the textures. Let's go back to that color. That was cool. That's a cool. These are default, all default. When you click the load default layers, it'll load these up and the values to what worked for me, the ones I liked. But if you like change the texture here, and streaming assets in the application data folder, it'll go to streaming assets. This is where everything will be, all the textures and anything when you save all the files, it'll save them here. And then if you download something, you'll be able to load it from that folder. Let's see, let's change the cliffs to sand beach. And you see how it changed it in the distance over there. What that does is it updates the shader, or the material, which uses the shader, and had to refresh it also because the shader uses height values and all kinds of cool stuff. But if you go like this, it'll change the scaling of the texture, or down to that. You see if you get close, so you can scale the textures up and down. You can change the tint of the textures. Let's go with purple. There we go. Look at how cool that looks. Uh-oh, blend strength didn't do too good there. I don't know what that was. I'm surprised I didn't give an error. And the other thing is, we can go to map settings. Let's take off fly cam. It'll go back out to the zoom, the top-down zoom, and you could go to a color map. Click show map. It'll show you the. This will be cool for like your world map view when you open up the world map, and you go to layer settings. Go to grayish. Oh, where is gray? Let's do 170, 150. I don't know. Okay, well I didn't test that out. Evidently that doesn't work. So I don't know how to get to gray on this one. Let's go here. There we go. We'll try that. Change this texture back to cliff. And show map. There we go. Yeah, that's close enough. But anyways, that'll give you that map, and then this one here, color terrain, will give you the actual terrain but without textures, which is, you know, some people want like that look. If you do fly cam now, I'll fly around. Now the terrain's all, there's no textures on any of the terrain, it's all colored, which is pretty cool too. The water's not on. There we go. Just had to turn it off and on. So that's pretty cool. Personally, I like the terrain. The terrain looked pretty cool. You can see the looks like, yeah, the scale on the cliffs is wrong. The scale on the cliff textures was wrong. But basically you'll be looking down in the game, you'll be looking down like this, running around with a third-person camera. So anyways, that's where I'm at now. I had to get this done in a build instead of using the Unity editor, because I want this to be a downloadable or included in my games so that people could make their own maps and distribute them and share them, download them, all that stuff. So now my next step is to get the asset bundle working, which they're now called addressables. Kind of a goofy name, I don't know why, but I liked asset bundle, made more sense. But when you go to your buddy, you go, hey, do you have the addressable for this map? The guy's gonna look at you like, what the hell are you talking about? An asset bundle makes more sense, but that's where I'm at now. So I'm gonna be working on that, and then after that I'm gonna include on this another button for object placement, like trees and grass and possibly structures, but trees and grass and stones and all that stuff. So I'm gonna program, get that procedurally placed using script, and of course Unity rocks. Anyways, that's it. Thank you.